Okay, welcome back to another vid. First one for ages. Lazy, busy, the usual thing. I always say it. But I'm just prone to these bouts of disappearing every now and again. It just happens. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. But I think it's a good thing, isn't it? You know, because there's some people out there, and it's not having a dig or anything, obviously. I'm just saying it is a fact. How some people, get fed up with their YouTube channel, and then they'll probably delete it. And it's like, well, don't do that. Don't do that. Just have a bit of a hiatus. That could be a week, a month, 2 months, could be a year or more. Just go away for as long as you need to, recharge the batteries. Not that I've really needed to recharge, I've just been busy, really, that's the only reason. But the summer is in full swing, it's bloody boiling outside, honestly, it is really, really hot. And I nearly didn't make this, but I thought I've got to for a number of reasons. One, because it has been a while, I really do want to, get back on board with it. And also, I've got 6 games here, which I'm going to unpackage or unbox. I'll touch upon that in a second. And I really want to play them. I'm fed up with them just sitting there, so I want to put them on. So I thought, in my infinite wisdom, I'll show you them, sort of show you them there. Now, if anyone remembers, if you've been on YouTube a long, long time, you'll remember how popular it used to be to come on YouTube within the community, the gaming community, and basically just unbox or unpackage everything. I don't know why in hindsight, it was kind of ridiculous. I'm just doing it today for a laugh, really. But yeah, we'd literally all come on video, on camera, and we'd just basically hold it up like this, not show the address, obviously, unless you want to get free swag, which I don't, so yeah, and we just basically hold this up and say, well, I bought this game from wherever for however much, and then we just unwrap it. It sometimes take 10 minutes to take the bloody wrapping off, and then we'd show it. It's kind of stupid, and these days it doesn't really happen. Pretty passé these days, but I thought I'd do it. So I know what they all are, obviously, because I bought them, but I've genuinely forgotten what maybe 3 or 4 of them are. So as I open them up, it's going to be a bit of a, well, somewhat of a surprise. But before I do, so I've got 6 of these games. Now, they're all for the Xbox 360, but then after I've got 5 games, and that's spread across, I think, 3 systems, 3 or 4, whatever it is. So obviously I'm really pleased to get those. Now, the 360, I'm a little bit embarrassed in a way, because quite publicly, I think I said to a good 2 or 3 people, off camera, like away from YouTube, like Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff, people who have YouTube channels, I was like, the 360 and the PS3, it's a brilliant system, but I think I'm going to maybe move away from it a little bit. And then like a month or 2 later, here I am just once again buying games. But it's a brilliant system, and I tell you another one of the reasons why. Not just that I got back into it because obviously I want to, but it's because some of the games are so cheap. Now, obviously you've got to buy quality, because there's no point wasting your money on rubbish. But in my opinion, and that's, it's subjective, but I bought quality here. Now, they're early games, I think almost all of them, so don't expect anything amazing, but quality for me. And the other thing that I like about the 360, and these in particular, is that all of these combined, including shipping, cost just under $30, which is about sort of 22 quid. And for me, that's an absolute bargain, because some of the Xbox One and PS4 games that are out, well, in fact all of them that are out, they're coming out like $60 brand new. In fact, one of the games that I've got there, which I'll show you in a bit, for the Xbox One, $60 brand new. Now, I paid $30 for it, but again, it just shows, doesn't it, like the difference in price. $60 for one brand new Xbox One or PlayStation 4 game, or get 6 really good games that you really want and definitely will have fun with for half that price. For me, it's a no-brainer. So I'm happy to take a back seat with current-gen gaming. I've still got the systems. Obviously, the Xbox One's on behind me. The PlayStation 4's next to it. And I love them. They're great. But I'm just not... Maybe this is a subject for another video, but I'm just not... I don't know. I'm just not as excited about them as I thought I would be. And I just don't play them as much as I thought I would. But they are good. They are good systems. I think... I don't know. Another reason as well, I think there's so many great games for the 360 and the PS3, which are really cheap, as I say, that I never got round to playing first time. Because if you go back like three and a bit years, or whenever it was when the Xbox One, PS4 came out, I pretty much abandoned the last gen. It was a case of, right, that's old now, let's move on. And really, in hindsight, I'm not saying it was a bad thing, it's not the end of the world, but it probably would have been beneficial to have maybe stuck around a little bit longer and experience the 360. So I'm now going back to it. But because the games are so cheap, I guess it's a good thing that I did kind of go away and come back to it. Anyway, so let's crack on with it. So we're going to do some old school... This just feels stupid, and it feels very old. Alright, so I can see what it is straight away. So this is a game that I actually did like one of those Thursday drives. They will be returning. quite recently, but I used it with old footage. The actual game I'd got rid of a long time ago. And here I have, I've got it back in its nice little bubble wrap with a calling card. Don't think I'll be using that, but yeah, these are all apparently, allegedly in really good condition. Yeah, this is a really good game. I like it. Now remember, before I show you them all, they're all pretty old, I think, and they're all pretty cheap, but I like them and I know I'm going to have fun out of them, or get fun out of them. And it's Sega Rally Revo. As I always say, apologies for any glare that you may see. It's just the light in the camera. What can you do? So there's the sides, if you want to see that. Bit of turquoise action going on there. Boxed and complete. That was another big deal. You had to say it was boxed and complete. It's just part of the etiquette, wasn't it? You know, just what happened back then. So yeah, really good game. All of these, like I say, was under $30, just under $30 for all of them. So I'm not going to say how much individually. You can work it out. But yeah, really good game. Now, it's an arcadey kind of game. Control-wise, I think, personally speaking, I used to struggle with it, but it's one of those games, I guess you could say, like anything, you spend a bit of time with, and you get used to it. So, yeah, Sega Rally, a great franchise, brilliant on the Sega Saturn, and the Dreamcast is pretty good as well. And the Xbox 360, also out on the PS3, is also a good game as well. So, really pleased to get that. And if you really want to see what it looks like from a gameplay from myself, then check my channel, if you really want, and you can see I did a video, like a Thursday drive, relatively recently, this year I think, maybe January, February time, whenever it was. Anyway, so package number 2 that I've now got to spend 3 hours opening while you just stare or do whatever you're doing. Maybe you're typing an email or God knows what you're doing. Anyway, so here we go. I'm in. So this is the second one of 6. I've got some bloody sticker on my fingers there. Right. Ah, right, yes. So, as I say, obviously I bought them all, so I know what they are. But I just completely forgot it was this one. So this one is Gun. Now, I believe this is an Xbox 360 exclusive. I think it did come out on the PS2 and the original Xbox, but did it or did it? Can't remember. Maybe not. I'm sure it did. Maybe this is like a sequel or an upgraded version. Either way, this version is not out on the PlayStation 3. So basically just think of a really cheap, and they've put the bloody, another calling card. People just want to sell themselves. Boxed complete. Mint condition. Yeah, it's basically like, think a cheap man's, which is unfair because it came out, you know, before, but like a poor man's Red Dead Redemption by Rockstar. He's made by Activision. So yeah, really good. I played it probably around about a year or so ago, last time I had it. And it's decent. Graphically, it's a little bit ropey, but I quite liked it. It's a decent game. Now, what I plan on doing in the very near future is starting on doing some Xbox 360 gameplay vids. Some older ones especially, so some of these ones, like Gun and maybe 1 or 2 that I've got here, which I won't say what it is because it'll ruin it. Excuse me. So if you really want to see what it's like and, yeah, see some of the gameplay, you can, unless you've seen it already. So, next one up. Yeah, pleased I got this one as well. Now, I think this is another one I've got a gameplay video of, but this must be going back about 4 years. This is a franchise which I absolutely love. I adored it, still do, always will, on the PlayStation 1. It's a different kind of game, in a sense, or different experience, but it's Ridge Racer 6, another Xbox 360 exclusive. So if you like your drifting kind of arcade games, this is your bag. And there's the spine. I don't think I did the Spinefield one. Maybe I did. So pleased to get that one. And I think that one was, I know I said I wasn't going to touch upon it, but I think it was like $4 plus like $2 shipping. Absolutely crazy. And to think when these games come out, they were all like, you know, $60. All right, next up. Flying through these. Oh, and then underneath it's got bloody bubble wrap. Shouldn't really complain because obviously it's stopping it getting damaged, but still. Yeah, now this one was on a buy it now for $5 or a best offer. And I thought, well, I'll use the best offer. It's there, why not? And I offered $2 with $2 shipping, and they accepted. Now, it's not worth a great deal more than that, but I was just surprised. Usually people would counter. But I'm specifically, or pleased specifically with this version because it's the black label. And a lot of these come in like one of those double packs with like, I think, Lego Batman and Kung Fu Panda's another one. I've not got any interest in that. But this is the original kind of black label release. And it's a game called Pure by Disney, actually. Which may put you off, but it shouldn't do. It's like quad racing. And it's really good graphically. If you can even see it, you probably can't. There you go. It's a really good game. Again, one which I intend to do some gameplay of, so you can see what it looks like. It's really, really cheap. And I think you'll probably like it. It's no frills. It's nothing absolutely amazing. Pretty limited. But I like it. And it's one of those, you know, very early nostalgic 360 games for me. And at $2. $2? Jesus, you can't go wrong. Alright, now this is brilliant. It's a cheap and cheerful game, like pretty much they all are. This is one of the three, not the, but one of the first Xbox 360 games I got. Yeah, box complete, looks like it's in good condition. And, yeah, now there's been a number of sequels, but again, this is another... Oh, it's got a bloody sticker on the CD, but I can take that off, that's fine. It's, yeah, got a number of sequels that have come out on the 360 and PS3, but this one is a 360 exclusive, and it's Call of Juarez, not Juarez. Call of Juarez. I've still probably butchered that, but yeah, so again, you know, cowboy, Wild West game, and shown its age a little bit, of course, but a really good experience when I first played it. One of the first games on the 360 that I took online, and I remember specifically playing that with my cousin. I just thought it was amazing how I could see my cousin, you know, who's on, well, this is back when I was in the UK, just before I came to America, like 2007-ish. So he was in like Southampton or wherever he was, and there was I, in a different part of the country, and we were playing on the same screen, seeing each other. It was amazing, it just blew my mind. It's unbelievable. So yeah, really cheap and cheerful game, but one I really, really like. And last but not least, for the 360 games, in a typically appropriate green packaging for the Xbox. I quite like this, actually. This is the last game. Now, I genuinely can't think. I'm going to use the scissors here. I genuinely can't think what this... Oh, actually, I've just remembered. Yes, there it is. Just opened it. Yeah, this is a really, really good game. Now, everyone talks about, like, the latest racing games, which are good, which I do have. You know, like the Forza 6 and 5s for that matter, or whatever else. Gran Turismo game, which is coming out probably this year, I think. Maybe just before Christmas. And they're all fine, they're all great, and I've got them and I'll get them. Brilliant, I enjoy them. But for some reason, this one particular game, which came out in, I think, 2007, I'm struggling to find it on the back. But yeah, it still, for me, it looks amazing. Yeah, 2007. It still looks amazing, still plays absolutely fantastically well. The last time I played it was about a year and a bit ago. Kind of when I properly sort of left the 360 behind, but then have started to come back a little bit in recent months. And I go back to it every single time. It's a brilliant game. It was another one which was like $3. And without further ado, it's Project Gotham Racing 4. Now, 3 is also out on the 360. I may still have it somewhere hidden away. I'm not sure. That's always a bad sign, isn't it, when you don't know what games you've got. But I've still got a lot of 360 games left. Too many, really. But yeah, but 4 is absolutely fantastic. It still looks brilliant. Now, just before I bought it on eBay the other day, on the Buy It Now, like I say, I had a quick look on YouTube at some gameplay, and it still looked fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Still looked really, really good. And, you know, even in the comments section, people saying, this looks really good. For a game that came out nearly 10 years ago. Absolutely insane. So those are my 360 games. Let me grab them again, and I'll show you them right at the end. But yeah, I'm really, really pleased to get them. Bit of spinach, multicoloured spinach. So, delighted, and I've really got back into the 360. So, if you're on the fence about maybe getting into the 360 or back into the 360 or the PS3 for that matter, do it, because the games are so cheap, and I don't think you're going to regret it. But now, at the same time, I don't think I could leave the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 alone. You know, they are very good systems, but I just think moderation for me at the moment. There's only 2 games coming out on this next or current gen, I guess, which I'm really, really interested in, which I know I'll play a lot of, or think I will. And that's FIFA 17 and Battlefield 1. Why it's called Battlefield 1, I'm still not worked that one out. But there we are. So, speaking of current gen, there's 2 here on the Xbox One. The first one up is a game which a lot of people have been going mental about. And I bought it. I did wait until it was just under $30. I just was not comfortable paying $60 for it, because I just didn't think I'd enjoy it. You know, I'll get $60 worth out of it. And lo and behold, that's proved the case. Now, it's not a bad game. It's not bad. It's just a typical kind of first-person shooter for me. And in all honesty, I know this sounds a bit controversial and a bit stupid to some, but I kind of prefer the PlayStation 1 version. I've got to be honest. But I'm probably around about 15-20% through the game, and it is Doom on the Xbox One, like I say. Now, graphically it looks good. It's a very gory game. It's not as if it's bad. It's not a bad game. It's a good game. a lot of good features in there. There's the inbuilt editor, which is really cool, where you can create your own maps and stuff and put bots in there if you don't fancy taking it online. So some really, really nice touches. It's a very good game, a polished game. You know, if you like Doom, you're probably going to like this. It kind of stands to reason. But there's just something about it. Maybe it's the fact that, I don't know, maybe it was hyped up so much that everyone was talking about it, saying you've got to get it. And it's one of those things where it could only ever really disappoint, you know, because of the hype. But it's not a bad game, I want to stress that. It is good. It's just not something that I'd race to play anytime soon. So I'm glad I waited until it was $30, which again is around about 22 quid. I probably could have waited a bit longer, really, but at least I didn't pay 60. But maybe you did, and maybe you love it. You know, it's each to their own, isn't it? It's a decent game. If you give me the choice, I'd probably rather play the PlayStation 1 version. Got to be honest. Now, next up is a game. This is very kind of niche, really. This is not going to be a lot of people who like this. But I love the kind of point-and-click, role-playing kind of games that make you think, you know, like kind of detective ones, the Sherlock Holmes, which is out on the current gen. Things like Broken Sword. There's a new Broken Sword game out on the PlayStation 4. Beneath the Steel Sky, Monkey Island, all that kind of stuff. And this is in similar vein. And it's Agatha Christie's The ABC Murders. It's basically surrounding, you're playing as like Poirot. And you've got your assistant, Hastings, and you're just basically going around and solving crimes. It's very basic. It's not particularly difficult or taxing. There's one or two puzzles so far which make you kind of wonder what to do. But really, it's all on the screen for you. It's quite basic, but it's nice. And graphically, I think it looks good. It doesn't have the original actors from Poirot. Was it David Suchet? Who played it for all those years, from like 89 up into 2014 or something. Now, that would have been nice, but to be honest, it's just a French accent, you know, Belgian character, and anyone can pretty much do it. So it just sounds like him. But it would have been nice, I guess, for that extra bit of authenticity if he could have done it, but he didn't. It's not the end of the world because it sounds like him, like I say. So I'm liking it, and that was cheap, and yeah, probably like $15, $20 or something. So for me, bargain. Now, 3 left, and now this one I've not played, but it's a funny one because I saw Lebossu77, Owen, pick this up quite recently, and it reminded me that I had earmarked that game, or to buy it, you know, probably the best part of 10, 15 years ago. Totally forgot about it, and Owen showed it on his vid, and I was like, I've got to get that. I wanted to get it years ago, I now want to get it. So I looked on eBay UK. I thought, well, I'm not going to look on ebay.com, what's the point? Went on ebayuk.co.uk, for the record, and it was, I think there was like a couple available, but they were like 40, 50 quid. They're quite expensive. Previous items that had been sold had gone again for around about 30, 40-ish pounds. And it's something which I wanted, but I wasn't prepared right now anyway to pay that kind of money. And I know when Owen showed this game, I think it had a 40 quid price sticker on it, but I don't think he paid it. Or maybe he did. Maybe he paid like a trade-in value for it. Maybe that's what it was, rather than just outright paying £40. But he pretty much paid the asking price. Now, I did see it, like I say, on ebayuk.co.uk, got to get it right, but I was just reluctant to pay that kind of money. And for whatever reason, I just thought, well, just out of interest, you know where this story's going, just out of interest, I'll look on ebay.com. What are the chances? It's not going to happen. But lo and behold, there was a copy on ebay.com, America, for a PAL PlayStation 1 game. And the case is battered. I'll talk a little bit about it. I've not put it on yet. It's absolutely battered case, to be honest. As you can see, it's coming apart. But it's all complete, and it's Devil's Deception. So, again, a little bit of sticker on the side. Now, I'm really pleased to get this. As Owen said himself, it does look decidedly ropey. It really does. But that's typical PlayStation 1, isn't it? That polygon look. It hasn't, for the most part, aged very well. But one of the things I really like about this is the premise for the game. Because from what I understand, and I could be completely off on this one, but from what I understand, you don't actually play like a guy who's like a good guy. You're basically playing someone who's trying to summon the devil for whatever reason. Maybe you're going to get something out of it, of course. You won't just be doing it for a laugh. But one of the cool things about it, from what I hear, is that you're trying to essentially guard this mansion, and people are trying to come in to stop you. They obviously don't want to resurrect Satan, so they're trying to stop you doing it. And what you can do, by all accounts, in the mansion to protect it, is you can put all manner of traps, like spikes and trapdoors and all that kind of stuff, to kill all the guards. And I think there's robots and monsters, so it's kind of got a bit of a futuristic kind of edge, and not to mention an unrealistic edge to it. So the premise just sounds really, really good. And in terms of immersion, I can really get into this kind of stuff. I can definitely see past the graphics, although it will take me a while, I've got to be honest, because when I go back to PlayStation 1 games now, the first thing you see, obviously, is visually the graphics. Aesthetically, most of them haven't aged very well at all. But give it 10, 20 minutes, and, you know, if you persevere with it, and you allow yourself to get immersed, then that really helps. And you soon forget it's a game which is, you know, 20 years old. Or, if you don't forget, you accept it's 20-odd years old. And it was a machine at the time which, you know, looked great, didn't it? But now it's showing its limitations, but it doesn't mean to say it can't be fun, because the PlayStation 1's brilliant. So, really pleased to get it. I've not got into it yet, but yeah, excited to get it. And I just couldn't believe that I found it on eBay America. Oh, and price-wise, it was, let me see, $35. It was more initially, but I sent him, the seller, an email. I say him, it could have been her. And I gave it the usual kind of, you know, talk. I went, look, I want it. I'm in America. It's a PAL game. Who's going to buy a PAL game? Come on, lower your price kind of thing. Sometimes they fall for it, even though it is a valid argument, and other times they don't. And this guy kind of, I think it's a guy or girl, said, well, I tell you what, I'll lower the price a little bit, including free shipping. So it would have been like $50, which I wouldn't have paid. Went from 50 to being 35 all in. 35 again being around about 24, 25 quid. So I've paid under the going rate for that game, because it usually fetches 35, 40, a bit more maybe. And yeah, really pleased overall. Maybe one day I'll do a gameplay, or maybe Owen will. No pressure. And speaking of dodgy polygon 3D graphics, it's a game for the Sega Saturn. Now, I've got a lot of nostalgia for this game, so I'm really pleased to get it. And it comes in one of these hard cases as well. And it's Winter Heat. A very basic game. I think you're probably looking at between 5 and 10 quid. Did I say Ted quid? You don't pay in people. That'd be funny. 10 quid. So yeah, between 5 and 10 quid. And it's just a cartoony Olympic game, essentially. Think of something like, well, Olympic Games, which is relevant, just around the corner, a couple of days away from happening. So, yeah, bloody hell, I tell you what, the Olympic Games as well. Can you believe it's been 4 years since the London 2012 Olympics? I remember watching it here in America, just getting pretty nostalgic and, well, I wouldn't say sad, but kind of, you know what it's like when you're not there. Like, there hadn't been an Olympics in my lifetime in the UK, and then I come over here, and within, like, when did I come in? Like 2008 or something. Within a few years, they've got the bloody Olympics. What a bloody... Still annoyed about it. So, but yeah, 4 years. I can't believe it. It's ridiculous. And then last but not least, how long's this video been going on? Quite a while. Last but not least, it's a game for the Atari ST. Now, when it comes to the ST, I kind of often... I go back and forth with this. Sometimes I'm just tempted to pick anything up because it's the ST, it's nostalgia from the late 80s and the early mid-90s. And, you know, I can play any game and like it. I really can. I'm very blinkered with my vision when it comes to the Amiga and the Atari ST, or the Atari ST and the Amiga. But what I'm trying to do is to buy the games that I know I'm going to play, that I know I'm going to like. And so it's just one or two at a time every now and again. Because if I allow myself, I could easily go out on eBay and just buy dozens of ST or Amiga games. So I've just got this one this time. It's in great condition. And I'm just really surprised. You know, when you bear in mind this particular game came out in 1990. Now, I do prefer the sequel, I've got to be honest. But that game is James Pond. James Pond, unbelievable. Now, the sequel, of course, is James Pond 2, codenamed RoboCod, which is a brilliant game. And, you know, it's got fantastic music, fantastic graphics. So very cartoony. I did have a quick go on this. It's a few weeks back, to be honest, because it's been a while since I made a vid. Yeah, it's good. It's playable. It's a laugh. It looks nice. It's quite charming. As per usual, the Atari ST version isn't as good as the Amiga. Graphically, it's usually on a par. Sometimes, obviously, the Amiga has the edge. But when it comes to the music, 90% of the time, but not 100, 90% of the time, the Amiga has the superior sound by a big, big margin. I think what it came down to is, obviously, the sound chip. It was much better on the Commodore Amiga. But on the Atari ST-E models in particular, which is the one I had, which I'm still looking to get, that was the one that came in the big pink outer box called the Discovery Extra Pack with XTRA. I've seen a few over the years on eBay, but they're always battered, and I want one, knowing me, of course, you know, I want one mint condition. So I'm going to be waiting a long, long time for that. But yeah, on the Atari ST-E version, the E stood for Enhanced, it's educational, then you could get a better sound chip. So the ST-E had much better sound. In many ways, it kind of rivaled the Amiga. So finally, the Atari ST fans could have, you know, games which sounded good, but only if the developers implemented it into the game. You know, I think sometimes maybe they just weren't skilled enough. So they just had the standard kind of ST music, which is very almost 8-bit in places. But if the developers knew what they were doing, they could get proper sound out of it, not too dissimilar to the Amiga. It's just a shame that, you know, not many people did it. But anyway, that was that. I'm whinging about it, and it was like 25 years ago. Still bitter, all these years later. But well, yeah, so there we are. So there's the 6 Xbox 360 games, 2 for the Xbox One, 1 for the Sega Saturn, 1 for the PlayStation 1, and the Atari ST. Pretty eclectic bunch. Really pleased, like I say, to get the Xbox 360 games back. If you're thinking about getting back into the last gen, I strongly recommend it, because there's some great games. There really is, and they're so cheap. Again, it's all about quantity. It's all about quantity. It's all about quality. It's not about quantity. It's all about quality over quantity. But there's so many quality games you can get for like a few dollars or a few quid. And I'm really enjoying it. So the 360 is brilliant. Back into it. Very happy about that. And yeah, I'm just going on. Feels like I've not stopped talking 20 minutes. So, I'm off. Thanks for watching. I'll be back very soon. I don't know when. It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. But I will get back into the swing of things, because I've just been busy but lazy, the usual thing. It's boiling hot outside. So anyway, I'm whinging. Thanks for watching. See you later.